Okay, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I wasn't expecting a snow day either, or a ice day, but I did want to make sure that we went over some of that review since we're not going to be together in class. All of your review stuff can be found on your study guide, but in addition, I'm just going to go through some of the content a little more in depth here or tell you where you should be looking and studying for your final exam. First off, a breakdown of the questions. There are 125 questions on the multiple choice Scantron portion of the final. For literature, you've got matching the author and the short stories, but also Crucible and Farewell to Arms, and then content multiple choice questions. You have 15 Farewell to Arms questions on matching the characters and content multiple choice. And for the Crucible, you have character matching, content multiple choice questions, and quote matching. Remember, for all of those, for the Farewell to Arms and the Crucible, my questions are coming straight from the tests that we've had. And then historical background, those are 15 questions broken up into 3 sections of 5 with fill in the blank with a word bank. And all of the historical background is going to come from the unit background notes. In your grammar section, there's 15 vocabulary questions, and that's just matching definitions to the terms. There's 19 questions on parts of speech and 22 on parts of the sentence. Both of the grammar sections are broken down into smaller sections, and all you're doing is identifying the underlined part of the sentence from a word bank. So, for example, there will be a section of like 6 questions, 6 sentences, and there's something underlined in each, and it'll be identify what type of pronoun the underlined section is. Is it a reflexive pronoun? Is it a relative pronoun? Etc. So to review your historical background, we covered 4 units in this trimester. Unit 1's focus was on Native Americans literature and the Puritan literature. Native American literature, remember, was the origin myths. Their purpose was to explain the unexplainable. These had characteristics like oral storytelling. There was a deep respect for nature, and animals had special powers. They could talk, review, when grizzlies walked upright, Earth on Turtle's Back, Navajo origin legend. Your Puritan literature focused on, that's when we read the Crucible, but their focus was on religion and God. They did not write fiction. They wrote psalms and hymns and religious writing. So their focus was all on sin and salvation. In Unit 2, people have said enough with the religion and the focus on faith and God. Instead, we want to focus on reason and logic. And so the Age of Reason came about. And the Age of Reason focused on a lot of political writing. This was the age of the Revolutionary War. And so much of the writing was political, reflecting the events of the time period. This is when we had Declaration of Independence, letters from an American farmer, letter to her daughter from the White House, and we had a lot of political writing. Still not a lot of fiction. After we've had the Age of Reason, we moved into Romanticism. Romanticism, remember, is focusing on imagination and creativity. People were done being reasonable and logical. They said enough of the Age of Reason. We want to instead focus on Romanticism, using our creative imagination. Remember, Romanticism does not mean lovey-dovey, roses are red, violets are blue. Abby, whoops. We're still waking up here. Answer yourself. And so our most well-known romantic writer is actually Edgar Allan Poe. And so remember, he wrote Fall of the House of Usher. He focuses on the fantastical, and we have fiction. The other literary movement in Unit 3 is Transcendentalism, and this is with Emerson and Thoreau, and their focus on self-reliance, your relationship to society and to self, and focusing on nature. We read some of the Transcendentalist poetry. Yes. And Emerson and Thoreau are your big authors to remember for Transcendentalism. After that, we hit Unit 4 with realism and naturalism. Realism came about because of the Civil War. People said, we've just experienced the Civil War. We don't want to focus on romanticism anymore in this ideal life. We have just experienced something bloody and awful. Instead, we want to write about the real ordinary life and what's happening. You had also naturalism, which is an offshoot, which focuses on how nature and forces like fate shaped people's lives. Some of your main authors from Unit 4 include Frederick Douglass. Girls, shh, shh, shh. Lily, just let her be. Frederick Douglass, who was a famous anti-slavery author. He wrote the autobiography of Frederick Douglass and the narrative life story. And then also Mark Twain, who focused on humor and often wrote about the West. Okay. Okay, Lily, hang on. Mommy's still videoing. So, your short stories, here are the big ones that we covered. Review your notes on them. When Grizzlies Walked Upright, Earth on Turtle's Back, and Navajo Origin Legends, you should have notes on all of those. And remember, when I'm asking for the author, I want the tribe for those, not who translated them. Fall of the House of Usher, Devil and Tom Walker, and Where is Here. You also should have notes on. Fall of the House of Usher, I sent you a summary sheet. Devil and Tom Walker, I think you have reading guide questions. But those stories are both linked on the course calendar. Here are your characters again for the Crucible. For the Crucible, review your ACT study guides. Those will help you kind of jog your memory of what happened throughout the play. But basically, here is a breakdown of the main things that happen. The main things that happen in the acts. By the way, this PowerPoint is going to be on the course calendar and emailed to you as well. Farewell to Arms, again, your characters, know the short description of them. There's 5 character matching questions, and your multiple choice questions are going to be on the plot. So review those notes that we put on the wiki from each chapter. Okay, grammar. I just want to go through some of the parts of speech a little bit more thoroughly. Noun, person, place, thing, idea. Parts of speech for pronouns. Remember, a personal pronoun is a first, second, or third person. I, me, we, she, etc. The antecedent is the word that the pronoun is replacing. Remember, your demonstrative pronouns are only for this, that, these, those. They all direct attention. This is my house. That is my coffee cup. These are my loud children. Those are, those are the lunch boxes. Your relative pronouns relate parts of the sentence together. There's only 5 of them. That, which, who, whom, and whose. Your interrogative pronouns, there's only 5 of those. They all start with a W. They ask a question. Your indefinite pronouns name an undefined amount. You might want to just do a quick Google search for an indefinite pronoun chart, but some examples include some, all, many, everyone, both, someone, etc. And then your reflexive and intensive pronouns both end in self or selves. Remember, reflexive reflects back on an action in the sentence. I fed myself breakfast. Intensive intensifies the meaning of a sentence. You can take your intensive one out. Enough. And then conjunctions seem to be a little difficult too. Remember your coordinating ones. Fanboys. For, and, nor, but, or, yet, so. They link parts of the sentence together. Your correlative always come in 2 parts, both, and, neither, nor, either, or, not only, but also, whether, or. And then subordinating is dependent on the rest of the sentence. These are words like while, if, because, until, since. You might want to look up a list of subordinating conjunctions because remember, you also need to know your subordinating conjunctions because they begin adverb clauses.
Mommy.
Prepositions relate the noun or pronoun that appear with it to another word in the sentence. It ends with an object. Here are some of them. Remember, it's a preposition plus a noun or pronoun that make up a prepositional phrase.
Mommy.
1 minute, honey. Your transitive and intransitive verbs, ask who or what after the verb. If you can answer it, it's transitive. Your answer is also your direct object. Your linking verbs are going to be intransitive. Subjects and predicates, remember, the big thing for the parts of the sentence, review that study guide that we just did last Friday, that you used for the test on Friday. A lot of the questions for parts of the sentence are on there. So remember, subjects are who or what the sentence is about. You ask who or what before your verb to find the subject. Ask what that who or what did to find your predicate. On the test, you do not have to identify what part of the sentence, for example, the gerund is being used as. So you don't have to identify that the gerund is the subject of the sentence. You just have to find the gerund. Phrases and clauses, again, adjective and adverb phrases are prep phrases. Adjective phrases modify a noun or pronoun. Adverb phrases modify adverb, verb, or an adjective.
Mommy, what is today?
It's Tuesday. Adjective and adverb clauses are subordinate. That means they're dependent. Adjective ones modify nouns or pronouns. They always start with a relative pronoun. Your adverb clauses modify verbs, adjectives, and adverbs. They begin with a subordinating conjunction. Remember, appositives are nouns next to another noun, identifying, renaming it. Participles look like a verb, act like an adjective. They end in ing for present, eden for past, and having or having been plus a past participle for perfect. Your gerund is a form of a verb that acts like a noun. They always end in ing. And again, they're going to be working as nouns. You just have to identify them in the sentence. You don't have to tell me what they're functioning as. Oops, I forgot. Infinitives, to plus a verb. And then some complements real quick. Remember, your predicate adjective follows a linking verb, describes your subject. Your predicate nominative also follows a linking verb. It's a noun that renames your subject.
Mommy.
1 more minute. You're doing a good job. Wait patiently. And then your DOs and IOs are going to be found after action verbs. There's a list of common verbs that IOs follow on your study guides. Remember to ask the question who or what, or to whom or for whom, or to what or for what, to find your DOs and your IOs. Oh, that brings us to the end, ladies and gentlemen. If you've got questions, send me an email sometime throughout the day. I will be on and offline in between refereeing my children. Hope you study well. Good luck. We will pick up tomorrow. Take care.
Goodbye.
You want to say bye-bye?
Bye-bye.